Once upon a time, in a small village nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a young boy named Timmy. Timmy was known throughout the village for his mischievous nature and penchant for trouble. He would often play pranks on his neighbors, skip chores, and generally cause chaos wherever he went. In the heart of the village stood a serene monastery, home to a wise old monk named Master Lee. Master Lee was revered by all for his wisdom, kindness, and patience. People would often seek his counsel and guidance in times of need. One sunny afternoon, Timmy found himself in a particularly mischievous mood. He had just finished playing a prank on the village baker and was skipping gleefully down the path when he stumbled upon the monastery. Intrigued by the peaceful surroundings, Timmy decided to explore. As he wandered through the monastery grounds, Timmy spotted Master Lee sitting serenely beneath a towering oak tree. Curious, Timmy approached the monk and asked, "Who are you, old man?" Master Lee smiled warmly at the boy and replied, "I am Master Lee, a humble monk who seeks wisdom and understanding." Timmy scoffed. "Wisdom and understanding? What good are those things? I prefer fun and excitement." Master Lee chuckled softly and said, "Ah, young one, there is much more to life than mere fun and excitement. Wisdom and understanding bring true fulfillment and happiness." Timmy rolled his eyes, unconvinced. "I don't believe you," he retorted. "I think you're just a boring old man with nothing better to do than sit around all day." Instead of getting angry or upset, Master Lee simply smiled and said, "Perhaps you are right, but I have a story that might change your mind. Would you like to hear it?" Timmy shrugged, figuring he had nothing better to do. "Sure, why not?" And so Master Lee began his tale. Once upon a time in a distant land, there lived a wealthy merchant named Zhang. Zhang was a shrewd businessman who cared only for his wealth and possessions. He spent his days haggling with customers, counting his money, and flaunting his riches to anyone who would listen. Despite his wealth, Zhang was not a happy man. He was always worried about losing his fortune or being outdone by a rival merchant. No matter how much money he had, it was never enough to satisfy his insatiable greed. One day, as Zhang was counting his gold coins, he received news of a mystical treasure hidden deep within the mountains. Rumor had it that whoever possessed this treasure would be granted eternal wealth and happiness. Determined to claim the treasure for himself, Zhang set out on a treacherous journey into the mountains. For days, he battled harsh weather, steep cliffs, and wild beasts, all in search of the elusive treasure. Finally, after many trials and tribulations, Zhang reached the cave where the treasure was said to be hidden. With trembling hands, he entered the cave and beheld a sight that took his breath away. Before him lay a vast chamber filled with mountains of gold and jewels, more riches than Zhang had ever imagined possible. Overwhelmed with greed, he rushed forward to claim his prize, ignoring the warning signs scattered throughout the chamber. But as Zhang reached out to grasp the treasure, disaster struck. The ground beneath him gave way, and he plummeted into a bottomless pit, never to be seen again. As Master Lee finished his story, Timmy sat in stunned silence. He had been expecting a tale of adventure and excitement, but instead he had heard a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and selfishness. "Is that it?" Timmy asked, feeling disappointed. "I was expecting something more exciting." Master Lee smiled knowingly and replied, "Sometimes the most valuable lessons come from the simplest of stories. Greed and selfishness may seem enticing, but in the end, they only lead to ruin. True happiness comes from within, not from material possessions." Timmy pondered Master Lee's words for a moment before nodding thoughtfully. "I think I understand," he said slowly. "Thank you for sharing that story with me, Master Lee. I will try to remember its lesson." With a warm smile, Master Lee patted Timmy on the shoulder. "Remember, young one, it is never too late to choose the path of wisdom and understanding. May you find true happiness on your journey." And with that, Timmy bid farewell to the wise old monk and set off down the path, his heart lighter than it had been in a long time. For he knew that although life might be filled with challenges and temptations, as long as he stayed true to himself and followed the path of wisdom, he would always find his way.